Powerpanel by CSR Hebel is a solid panel system for stud-framed homes that will transform your current building methods. Powerpanel will save you time and money. The external walls to a small house can be installed in less than 2 days by 2 people. The panels are reinforced and lightweight, making installation easy, and provide an excellent base for the application of decorative coatings. As the modern alternative to brick veneer, Powerpanel is ideally suited to cladding the external walls of timber or steel frame dwellings. Appropriate design of the stud framing to suit a 300mm module will virtually eliminate wastage, which keeps the site cleaner and safer. These 75mm thick panels can be ordered in the stock lengths of 2700mm, 2400mm and 1200mm, and in widths of 600mm and 300mm, ensuring ready availability. A typical panel 2400mm long and 600mm wide has the equivalent area of 72 house bricks and can be installed in just 3 minutes. And with a reduced overall wall thickness of 185mm, Powerpanel provides you with greater internal floor space for the same building dimensions. To begin the installation process, the top hat sections are screwed to the frame of the house. A clutch-driven drill is necessary to avoid over-drilling the screws. You'll need to fix one top hat section horizontally in the following locations: 150mm up from the internal slab, in the middle of the wall, 150mm down from the head of the windows, and 100mm below all window openings. You may find it easier to trim the top hats after they're screwed to the wall around the corners and other openings. An angle grinder is the best tool for this job. The small offcuts are still useful on some of the narrow sections of the wall, so don't waste them. The top hat section should be purchased in 6-metre lengths. Typically, you'll need approximately 3 times the perimeter of your building, allowing for openings. The top hat can be purchased from a number of suppliers, however, you may find it easier to purchase it with your panels through CSR Hebel. We can also give you a more accurate estimate of the total number of lengths you'll require. The screws for fixing the top hat to the stud frame are available from CSR Hebel and most of the major builders' hardwares. Note that the type of screw for timber studs is different to that required for steel studs. Your Hebel representative can estimate and order these items for you. Delivery can also accompany the other Powerpanel components. The gap between the panels and the frame measures 20mm and allows plumbing services to be externally face-fixed to the studs if required. As this walling system is not classified as cavity construction, this installation technique is acceptable. Electrical services can easily be woven between the studs, noggins and top hat sections. Before commencing the installation of the panels, it's important to install a damp-proof course or DPC like Viscourse. This continuous membrane should be nailed or fixed to the bottom plate of the frame and completely cover the concrete step-down, lapping at corners. Also, the CSR Hebel thin bed adhesive should be prepared by mixing only half a bag at one time in the mixing bucket. Approximately 3 litres of water will be required to allow the mix to achieve a good consistency using a drill stirrer. Powerpanel is surprisingly light for a solid wall. The maximum weight of a panel is approximately 70 kilo, which allows 2 men to carry the panels to where they're to be installed. The first and most important panel to be installed is the corner panel. The set-out of this panel will affect the alignment of all the other panels along the wall and the quality of the finished corner. As Powerpanel relies on a modular system, the set-out of this panel is critical. First, check the horizontal alignment, as this panel should extend 75mm past the face of the top hats on the return wall. Then check that the panel is vertical with a level and screw to the top hats. It's important to install the 3 screws on the corner side of the panel from the outside of the building as shown here. The remaining 3 screws can be installed from inside the building. The screws should be installed at a distance of approximately 100mm from the edge of the panel to avoid hitting the reinforcement in the panel. Before the next panel is lifted into position, the thin bed adhesive should be applied to the vertical edge of the panel just installed. A 75mm wide notch trowel from CSR Hebel should be used to give an even distribution of glue up the joint. The next panel is now ready to install. Lift the panel onto the rebate approximately 10mm away from the first panel. Insert a 12mm bolt under the panel so the bottom corner of the new panel can roll up to and touch the side of the first panel. After the bolt is removed, the new panel is then rotated firmly against the first panel. Then, while one person holds this panel in place, it can be screw fixed from inside by another person. Similarly, the remaining full-height panels can be installed around the dwelling. The cut panels below the window openings can be installed in sequence or after all the full-height panels have been installed. The Powerpanel system will provide an R value of 0.97 to the external wall of the house. If foil-backed gyprock is used, then the R value increases to 1.4. The 65mm long screws are used for fixing the power panel to the top hat sections. These 14-gauge screws can be purchased with your panels through CSR Hebel or from major builders' hardwares. Pre-ordering may be necessary from the hardwares to ensure availability. In most cases, 2 screws will be required to fix each panel through each top hat section, which adds up to 6 screws per panel. To avoid over-drilling these screws, a clutch-driven drill is essential. Remember that all the panels below the window openings will require cutting to the correct length and with a sloping end to form the sill. It's vital that the windows be ordered to suit a 300mm module to avoid unnecessary length cutting of these panels. The sill should have a slope of at least 15 degrees to ensure good runoff of rainwater. Care should be taken during cutting to keep the face straight and smooth. The panels then installed under the windowsill, carefully ensuring that the rubber weather strip sits on top of the panel. When cutting these panels, remember they contain steel reinforcement. A circular saw with a diamond-tipped blade or steel cutting blade will be required. In addition, caution should be taken to minimise the inhalation of the dust and therefore a mask should be worn at all times when cutting the panels. Additional long cuts of the 600mm wide panels may be required to suit the geometry of the building. However, the thoughtful modular design of the building can minimise, if not this requirement. The windows can be installed either before or after the power panel's been installed. In either case, a snug fit of the frame to the edge of the panels is important. Control joints should be located at most corners and at less than 6 metre centres. This 5 to 10mm gap between the panels should be sealed with a backing rod and filled with a polyurethane sealant prior to the application of the coating. In addition, all the windows should be sealed against the panels with the same type of sealant. Also, any panel reinforcement exposed by cutting should be coated with a rust inhibitor, as supplied by CSR Hebel. It's surprising to see how quickly the panels are installed. In just a couple of days, the outside of the building is now ready for coating. A number of options are available when choosing a coating for your power panel walls, from coloured renders to high-build acrylic coatings. CSR Hebel has written specifications for a number of systems available from most of the major coating suppliers. Further information on the design and construction techniques associated with this exciting new system is available from CSR Hebel or your local distributor. Powerpanel, the key to affordable, stylish housing.